Josh Brady. Thanks to Matt Kiernan for greeting today. We didn't greet. There he is. Okay. He did not greet and run. Let's go stay for lunch. Let's join for the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four-way test.
Is the truth, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And greet our fellow neighbors.
Very nice. Well done. Good.
Hoping for longer. Harvey?
Paige, welcome to Rotary. Good to see you.
We have a handful of guests today. So, for the guests. Alright, when we call your name, please remain standing, and we'll recognize you as a group. Harvey has a guest today, Joe Codaro, who retired as principal at St. Anthony's School for 30 years. Hold your applause. Tell him 30 years at one place is an honor. Adriana Roma is here, a fellow Rotary Youth Exchange student, volleyball and track stud at Grandview, and just came off of the Spain's World Cup, so he's from Spain. Missed all the parties, apparently. But welcome back to you. And Dick Legier brought prospective member Melissa McCollum, who succeeded Sue Woody as head librarian at the Des Moines Public Library. So welcome to all of you. Thanks for attending today. Okay, we have a little bit of a special honorary. Monsignor Frank, if you wouldn't mind standing up, please. I know, we're going to call you out. Not in trouble, I promise. So Monsignor's been a member of the Rotary Club of Des Moines for 35 years and is also an honorary member of our club. In a few weeks, Monsignor is moving to Evans, Georgia to be closer to his sister and niece. So while we certainly will miss seeing you at our normal Rotary meetings, we're grateful for your many years of fellowship, commitment to our club and our foundation. Thank you for your 35 years with the Rotary Club of Des Moines and your unwavering commitment to service above self and all that you do. So you'll always be part of Club number 27. And you'll have to send us a "Where in the world is Club 27" when you land. So, where in the world is Club 27? Where in the world?
Q.
Q. All right, first one is my little guys. So we were up in Duluth last weekend, and actually Tim was there too, I learned. They were champs, we were not, unfortunately. However, coming out of the rink, I found this sign that was a pretty cool Rotary four-way test that's in a memorial right outside of the rink, and Duluth is Club 27. So that's our little guys in Duluth last weekend. Next is Dave Busick was with his family in Chicago at Millennium Park for concert and performance. And then next we have Mindy and Matt O'Neill. We're on an Alaskan cruise, super jealous. Very nice looking, the glaciers in Juneau and Endicott, and Endicott Arm. I don't know much about Alaska, I'm gonna have to take a tour. And then finally, but never least, Doug Saltzgaber did survive RAGBRAI. The first leg, I think the second leg is better, but the first leg in the 100-degree heat. So he visited his hometown of Guthrie Center Monday. And then our bottom photo, which if you can't see is just black. In pure fun. We mentioned last week when Kelly was here, they're stewards of art and how they certainly just don't let anything show up at the art center. Doug and Skeet had aspired to be models, but have yet to be accepted. However, they did send me this picture last week, which may be their best opportunity as a self-portrait called Our Best Side. Doug is featured on the web. All right, sorry, gentlemen. Last one. So, and that is our traveling. If you're traveling anywhere, please send a photo, and we'll be glad to share out what's going on with you and your families as you travel. Graham Gillette has an announcement. There's flyers certainly on your table. He's going to share with us a little bit about the event, talk to the club about the table flyers, and then the esteemed past president, Kevin Kusier, will introduce our program for the day.
Kevin is esteemed. Most of you knew Bill Stowe, a figure larger than life in many ways. I remember Bill would come into this club, usually 3 or 4 minutes late, Kitty, and always sit at the reserve table whether he was supposed to or not, which is kind of what Bill always did. You know, Bill was in many ways kind of could be a polarizing figure, which is probably why we became friends. But he did many things in this community and was a force in many ways. And after his untimely passing a number of years ago, a number of us got together and we wanted to think about how could we continue the legacy that he began. And that legacy is complicated, right? I mean, I was chairman of the Waterworks Board when we decided to sue some northern drainage districts over water quality, which was a challenging time, but brought up the topic of our challenged water qualities here in the state of Iowa. And all these many years later, we still continue to have that conversation. So as we began to think about that legacy, what is it? We thought about how do we further this conversation about environmental issues, water issues, and that sort of thing. And we thought about Waterworks Park, and we had this kind of early idea to build an outdoor classroom at Waterworks Park, which would focus on these issues. And in some ways, one of the good things about the pandemic was the pandemic caused us to slow down a little bit and to think about this project a little bit more in depth. And we had a conversation with Jeff Fleming at the Art Center about that time. And Jeff said, I think you're thinking about this project wrong. You're going to want to build an outdoor classroom and try to make it look pretty. He says, I really think you should think about installing an art piece that functions as a classroom, which made sense to us. Then it really made sense to us when we got in touch with Jordan Weber. And I don't know if any of you know Jordan Weber, but some of you do. Jordan is a Des Moines kid, went to Hoover, but has had a remarkable career. He's an internationally renowned artist. He's doing a second or third year residency at Yale right now. But his works in social and environmental justice are international now. So when Jordan and we got in touch with Jordan, he immediately got this. As a kid, he grew up fishing at Waterworks Park. I mean, he knew it. And because of his work and his dedication, the thought about bringing people into nature, bringing people into the park, people of diverse cultures, people maybe who don't have the opportunity to be in the outdoors very often, that really struck a chord with him. So he was engaged right away and came up with a beautiful concept that is now being installed at Waterworks Park. If you have been down Fleur recently, you'll see it. It's right off the Rouen connector between the Lauritsen Amphitheater. It's going to be a magnificent structure. It's about 30 feet tall, and about 20 feet tall, and about 30 feet round. It's and thanks to Josh for your flyers on your table. Newman is the contractor on the site. It's going to be remarkable. As you come out of the Rouen connector, if you're riding your bike through Waterworks Park, it's going to be a natural stopping spot. And our secret little plan here is it's going to be a beautiful piece of art that draws people into the park. Also, the first significant piece of art as you see actually come from the airport, an indoor sculpture park. But it's going to draw people into the park. It's going to draw people into this sculpture. It's called Water Curia, Curia being a gathering space or a conversation. But we hope to trick people into learning while they're there. There will be a knowledge walk as you walk in that talks about the history of Waterworks Park and how we treat water. But more than that, we hope that it's an evolving experience, so that every time somebody comes, they have a different experience and they learn something about environmental and water issues and the challenges we face. All of that being said, Bill was a member of this club and did a lot of things, and it's important to us that Rotary be a part of this, and you have been all along. On August 6th, we're going to have an event at the Art Center at 5:30, and it's going to be a great event, and you're all invited. We hope you come. It'll start with a Meet the Artist discussion in the auditorium there, which we'll keep pretty short, but we're really fortunate that Art Cullen, the Pulitzer Prize winning editorial writer, is going to be there to moderate that event. So we'll learn a little bit about Jordan and his vision of Water Curia. We'll hear a little bit from Josh and the installation team about the project, and then we'll have a nice reception to move this forward. But it's been a long time coming, and I appreciate everybody's help on this. It's going to be a beautiful addition to Des Moines, and I hope you get out and see it, but I hope most importantly you come and spend some time with us on August 6th, 5:30 at the Art Center. These are their day.
Two things about Bill Stowe. He worked for the city of Des Moines before he went there, and he and I went to the same graduate school at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and Bill Stowe was a standout person when he worked for the city of Des Moines before he went to Waterworks.
He was, Bill was the director of Public Works in Des Moines, and when we had the vacancy at Des Moines Waterworks, I was on the search committee. And to be honest with you, I wasn't sure about this guy coming in that wanted to switch from Public Works to here, but you knew Bill. Bill was an interesting person, an engineer by training, a lawyer. He was a great problem solver and did a lot of things at Des Moines Waterworks that were needed at the time, thinking about the future and planning for the future, and really changed the course of that utility. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Josh. Keep it going. Keep working them. It's a privilege for me today to be able to introduce Kathy Underhill, who is the CEO of the Des Moines Area Religious Council. DMARC is Central Iowa's largest network of food pantries and hunger relief programs. I recently got to know Kathy a little bit and found her an impressive leader. She's strategic and insightful. As an example of this, you might have read a quote in the Business Record recently, and it's one that jumped out to me. It was speaking about the expanding problem of hunger, and she said, "Hunger is like a Rubik's Cube. If you turn the policies and programs in the right direction and in the right order, you can solve it." And now we're going to have an opportunity to learn more about that. She brings over 20 years of experience in hunger policy, and nonprofit leadership, including founding Hunger Free Colorado and serving as its first CEO, where she built it into the state's leading anti-hunger organization. Prior to joining DMARC in July 2025, so I guess happy anniversary, she managed Colorado's portfolio of 9 federal nutrition assistance programs, overseeing more than $80 million in annual food aid. She holds a master's of social work and has taught public policy and advocacy at the University of Denver. Known for her collaborative, people-first approach, Kathy has received national recognition for her work, including Share Our Strength Innovator Award and the Senator Paul Wellstone Award. Kathy is a tremendous new asset to the Central Iowa community. Please give your Rotary Club of Des Moines warm welcome to Kathy Underhill.
I think we could probably shorten that introduction to Kathy's done this for a long time and knows some things. You know, you stick around long enough, you become good at anything, right? That was Malcolm Gladwell says. So yes, I joined DMARC about a year ago. I moved here from Colorado and haven't looked back. I absolutely love Des Moines. One of the questions that I get asked is there really hunger in Des Moines? People just can't imagine that. And people think it's hyperbole. And what I know, I get the info at emails at DMARC. So I see all the people that contact us because I like reading them. It's important to me to be really connected. And last week, got an email from a mom with 4 kids. She had changed jobs, so she had been unemployed just for a couple of weeks, which got her really behind. She said they had nothing left in the house to eat, that she was okay because she went to work during the day, but that her kids were home, alone with no food. And she said they had already run through all of their canned goods, all of their non-perishable, and she just didn't know what to do. And well, she was getting caught up. And so that's the kind of story that I hear every day at DMARC, that real experience of someone saying what I'm earning or not earning, and my expenses simply don't match up. And you tend to pay all the bills you get in the mail first, and then food becomes almost like a discretionary budget item, where when you just don't have it, when it's not all coming together, you cut down on food. I also tell people that there can sometimes be this thought of us and them, as if people that are experiencing hunger or food insecurity are some other. And I always say there's no us and them, there's just us. Many of us are one curveball away, is the way that I like to think about it. Imagine you're scheduled, you work hourly job, and you're scheduled to work 40 hours this week, and then your 6-year-old gets sick, and you have to stay home, and now your paycheck is 20% less than what you planned. Imagine that your car gets a flat tire, and you end up with having to get a new tire because it went into the sidewall. Imagine that your child is impacted by wildfire smoke and the inhaler is $45. These are all little things that when you're riding that razor's edge of a family budget, they're catastrophic, and that's how people end up in the food pantry. It impacts every neighborhood in Des Moines, certainly to different degrees, but it's everywhere. And we have a tagline, United to Meet the Need. And I tell people that is not just a tagline, it's a promise. That the way that we operate is community-wide to really bring people together. We have many, many partners. This is just kind of a sampling, and I'll call one out, which is Food Bank of Iowa. I had the good fortune to start at DMARC at the same time that their new CEO started, and she and I became fast friends, and we kind of joke that we travel in a pack, so we do a lot of things together, spend a lot of time together. and have built a wonderful relationship. And they're a really, really critical partner to us. So this is a picture from the 1950s of an assembly, delegate assembly. DMARC used to be a true council where delegates came together at least once a year to vote on things. We've now transitioned to a typical nonprofit model that we still get the faith community together. Our interfaith work remains strong. We do Religious Freedom Day at the Capitol. We have an interfaith youth camp. We do Meet Your Religious Neighbor. So any way that we can bring divergent people together around the common issues that we all face, like hunger, especially in today's society, is all the better. So DMARC, I know that many of you know DMARC, but for those of you that don't, I will say that we are the largest food pantry network. We have a network of 13 food pantries. And what does it mean to be in that network? What it means is that you can order an unlimited amount of food from DMARC for free, and we will deliver it to you, or you can come pick it up if you're a network partner. It means that you can order an unlimited amount of food from Food Bank of Iowa, and we will pay any shared maintenance costs. It means that we will order about $6,000 a week of fresh produce from Capital City Fruit, and we will deliver it to your pantry. We also do food rescue, so at Hy-Vee and Target and Amazon, any place, and deliver that 5 days a week. So we solve the food gap for free. And I think the big thing to know is we are built on reliability and stability. So often hunger relief efforts rely on happenstance, on opportunity. Oh, someone's getting rid of something, we'll grab that up. We certainly do that, but what we guarantee is that anytime you walk into a DMARC network partner, you will always find every staple. You will always find tuna, peanut butter, frozen meat, cereal, soup, fruits, vegetables, pasta, all the things categories that you would buy in the grocery store, you will find every time in a DMARC pantry. We also do home delivery for those that can't get out. And we do mobile pantry, like at the DART station, at Oak Ridge Homes, at some churches. So really trying to be wherever we are needed, we will show up. We also share a common data system, which we've rebuilt in the past year. So we all use the same intake system. So we have insights. So I could tell you, for example, yesterday, how many families with kids under 5 came into the food pantry network. We have that kind of precision level of data in real time, which really helps to drive not only our supplies of what we need, but also our policy work. The need continues to grow. These are last year's numbers. When the what I call the government shutdown happened and SNAP didn't go out the door in November, we got to really see the full impact of need. It was bananas. These are some of our pantry partners, probably a lot of names that you recognize. Catholic Charities and Families Forward Bidwell, Urbandale. So a whole variety of pantries. Each one is their own 501c3 and operates independently, but we all come together around food, treating people with dignity, and common shared data. So we also do policy and advocacy work because we want to shorten the line. And what that looks like is really looking at federal and state policy in particular that impacts the hungry among us. And a lot of that is federal nutrition programs. You can hear a lot in the news about SNAP, it used to be known as food stamps. That is really the federal nutrition safety net. I will always prefer people being able to get a benefit on an electronic benefit card to be able to go to a grocery store using normal channels of commerce and choose the food that makes the most sense for that family. Charity cannot make up what SNAP provides. I mean, there's just no actual possible way. For every 9 meals that SNAP provides, the charitable food system nationally provides 1 meal. So the scale is just immense. There's also the WIC program, which is Women, Infants, and Children program. We saw some state level legislation last session that wanted to put more restrictions in place around that program. And it would have resulted in many pregnant women and babies not getting the nutrition support they needed. And so I testified at the Capitol on that. We support school meals, National School Lunch Program, and then the summer benefit. So what's new, some of you may have known Matt Unger, my predecessor, who is an amazing human being. And he and I get together and have lunch about once every 2 months and kvetch. And we have done a few new things since his departure. The first one is we started an advisory committee. So this is folks that use our Southside Food Pantry, had the opportunity to fill out an application to join our advisory committee. We selected members. We meet once a month in the evenings. We provide a meal and a gift card for their expertise. We co-create the agendas and have wonderful discussions to inform our work. So I knew it was going to be a success because at the second meeting, a woman came with a notebook and had an entire page of topics that she wanted to discuss. So I knew it was going to be good. And it's small things. I'll give you one example. They said sometimes it's hard for us to tell who's a volunteer and who's another shopper. And so we got aprons printed. So all the DMARC volunteers wear aprons now. So they're easily distinguishable. I took them our budget when we were in budget cycle and said, we have 2 big cost centers. We've got people and we've got food. Here's our food budget. How should we spend it? What do you need? What do you want? And let's talk about trade-offs. You know, do you want 1 pound of meat or 5 pounds of beans? Whatever you need, that's what we'll provide. The budget is the budget. We also started Food Today, which is a response to folks going into, let's say, a church and the church secretary and they're looking for food. It is shelf-stable food that that person can give to the person in need in that moment, along with a referral to a DMARC network pantry, so they're not turning anyone away empty-handed. So here's a temporary thing for today, and then here's a flyer so you can access a full service visit. We added Knock and Drop Iowa to our network this year. They took over a Polk County building, and then have just increased partnerships. We've got a United Way navigator that comes into the pantry 2 times a week to help people with needs other than food. We're partnering with Bravo. We are giving away cultural tickets to the art center, or not the art center, I'm looking at Kelly, because you can already go there for free, which is wonderful. And it's by my house, so I'm very spoiled. I get to walk there a lot. To the Science Center, Living History Museum, Botanic Gardens, and I'm missing one, and the zoo. And it has been amazing. It's been amazing for the folks that come to our pantry to have the opportunity to go and visit those organizations. We also work a lot with Wesley Life. They have done a pilot project for us to have shelf-stable, or not shelf-stable, but frozen prepared meals for those that are over 60 that come into the pantry and need a little extra help, that aren't, you know, they're up for it, but they're not quite with the cooking. So that has been a wonderful partnership. People often ask, you know, how can I help? And it's really about giving your time. We have volunteer opportunities for individuals, for big groups. Hint, hint, if Rotary ever wants to come and volunteer, we would welcome you. We also have skill-based volunteer opportunities. And by that I mean it could be a very special project. I'm working with someone from Hy-Vee right now and said, you know, you've got all this expertise that I could never afford. Could you come in and help us think about our warehouse layout? You know, you guys can do that in your sleep. So when I say skill-based volunteering, that's what I mean. If you have an expertise and we could tap into it and honor your time, just a couple, even if it's only a few hours or an hour, it would be amazing for us. Give your voice. Right now it's election season, and hunger is a bipartisan, should be nonpartisan issue. No one has to be a policy expert on the Farm Bill to be engaged. It is about saying, my name is Kathy Underhill, I'm your constituent, I care deeply about the issue of hunger. If you're elected, what will you do about it? That's it, that's all you have to do. And it lets them know that this is a priority, and it's something that they should pay attention to. And then, of course, donations, which can be, fundraisers, can be certainly, in any way, food drives. Downtown did a putt-putt, a miniature golf last year that was crazy successful in terms of giving us food. And that's all my slides. I'm not usually a slide person, so I wanted to leave a lot of time for questions because I'm curious what you all want to know about the issue, about how we operate, anything.
What was the outcome of the WIC program?
So Bob asked what was the outcome of the WIC program. We were very, very fortunate in that it got taken out. And what that piece would have specifically done was, what we opposed was requiring 12 months of continuous Iowa residency to access WIC for pregnant women and children. So when you think about that, let's say a woman falls pregnant in Omaha and wants to move back to Des Moines to be closer to family, she wouldn't be able to get nutrition benefits for herself or formula for her baby. So that for us was a very bright, frankly, a very bright moral line. So we were fortunate we got it taken out. Yeah.
What is the knock and drop program?
Yeah, thank you, Kurt, for asking that. Kurt asked, what is the knock and drop program? It's a really rather unusual name. It started off, it was an organization that started off, it's all volunteer during the pandemic. So they would literally knock on someone's door and leave food. And they've kept the name, although now they have a brick and mortar place. They, though, particularly, they welcome everyone in the community, but they have particular expertise in different ethnic communities. So they have Spanish speakers, Monsoon comes in and brings their volunteers, so then they've got different Asian and Pacific Islander languages. Embark comes, so they have Middle Eastern languages. And so that's been a great addition for us because we do want everyone to feel welcome. And it has been really fun because it stretches us, frankly, and our knowledge base. I ended up pairing Knock and Drop with In Harmony Farms, which is kind of a farm that has a micro enterprise with refugee farmers. And so I just put those two together and said, here's your budget for the year. Work amongst yourselves, pick out what produce makes the most sense for the people that you're serving in whatever quantity at whatever price, like you all do your thing. We also, on our database, rolled out, our phase 2 was rolling out a kiosk model so that there's an option for a self-check-in, and it's in 6 languages plus English. What was that? Kelly.
What do you think are some of the greatest misunderstandings around food, hunger and food insecurity that really prevent us from making progress and solving the problem?
So Kelly asked, what are some of the big misconceptions or some of the issues, like why does it persist, and like what are the barriers to us figuring this out? Is that fair? I think it's a couple of things. I think one is that hunger in the United States does not look like it does in developing nations. It doesn't look like, a child with a swollen belly and a stick figure. And so we just don't think about it. We just don't think about it because it's not obvious. You don't understand that the person sitting next to you at church could be experiencing hunger or food insecurity. So I think part of it is just really that awareness. And then I think the other piece is, as a country, and certainly as a state in Iowa, thinking about what is the role of the federal government, the state government, the faith community, corporations, and the nonprofit sector in solving tough social issues. I think those used to be much more clearly defined, and I think now they're very mushy. And I just think we need to have frank conversations about that. And I don't have any particular, I can accept any outcome from that conversation. I just want to be clear about it. And so what I mean by that is if we say, we're gonna invest in SNAP, the food stamp program, to this level, great. Then we know what's left, what the gap is. But what people have to understand is when things like HR 1 passed last summer, which made the deepest cuts to SNAP in the program's history, all of a sudden, you're missing millions of meals that used to exist one day and now don't. And so it's not that we've saved money, it's that we've cost shifted. So being really clear about that, what that means is either some other sector is picking up those meals or those people don't get to eat. And I think having that clarity about roles and responsibilities is really, really key and feels like the conversation that nobody wants to have. Yes.
Going back to the lady you cited at the beginning of your talk, assuming after that initial help that you give, it becomes apparent this person and this family needs more ongoing, indefinite support. Do you have structures in place or pathways by which you're prepared to direct them, especially if these people are untutored? Where to go from here?
Absolutely. So the question that John asked was, the woman that I talked about in the beginning of my conversation here, do we have structures in place if they need additional support to kind of guide them through a process? And the answer is that that's where our partnerships come in. Folks like United Way Navigators can help people really unpack, do you need rent assistance? Do you need education? Do you need a GED? Like, what do you need to get on your feet? Food is a great engagement tool. It's a low barrier entry to people getting deeper help. And so we try and connect people with others that are expert in other areas. We don't try and be everything to all people, but we certainly connect them. And you know, there's a lot of need for mental health, for substance use, for job training. But what we're seeing a lot of right now is people that are looking for work and cannot find a job. They are looking and looking and looking. And we posted for a truck driver, not a CDL, just a regular old box truck driving it around town. In 2 days, we got 100 applications. So it's tough. People are looking and they're just not finding. So yeah, someone over here. Yes.
Thank you for coming and talking about this. I have sort of two questions. What is your annual operating budget and how do you fund your operations?
That is a good question. The question was, what is our annual operating budget and how do we fund it? So we have a cash budget and then a budget that includes in-kind, which is about $6 million. We do purchase a lot of the food, and so that is, again, that's our biggest cost center, is buying food. But I have a procurement guy that can squeeze 6 pennies out of a nickel. I mean, he got eggs for 38 cents a dozen. He just got some pasta for $5 a bundle. So we scour and buy by the truckload. So we manage it really well. But we fundraise. Our biggest, besides in-kind donations of food, are really individuals. It's regular folks in Des Moines that step up and make a contribution. Yeah. And then some corporations and some, you know, certainly the faith communities are huge partners.
My question relates to the clients yourself that participate. How are they screened or brought in, and are there limitations as far as how often or how much quantity? Can you talk through that process that a client goes through when they come into the G-Market experience? And also, could you talk about the relationship with the Food Bank of Iowa?
Yeah, absolutely.
How that all works?
Yeah, okay. So Mark asked, let me see if I can get it all. First, how do we screen people or how do they come into us? And then what was the second part of that?
What qualifications?
Oh, what qualifications?
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, and how often?
And how often people can
And
come.
is there any limit on what they can get.
And is there a limit on what they can get? So this 7-part answer is.
So your
um,
screens prompted me several times.
So, yes to all of that. So we, as I said, we have an intake system, so when you come in, we don't require an appointment or any paperwork. What we require is someone to come in, if they can come in, otherwise they can call us if they need a home delivery, and answer some simple questions. And we ask questions that are directly related to getting them food. So there's many questions we could ask that would be interesting to know, but they would not actually result in that person getting any additional food, and so we do not ask them. So we ask about name and address, phone number, some contact information. We ask about number of people in the household. We ask about annual income. We ask about if they receive some of the other benefits like SNAP and school lunch. What else do we ask? We ask about if they're a veteran. That's about it. And what language they speak at home. Yeah, we don't ask a ton of questions. We do ask whether they rent or own a home, if they are currently staying with family and friends, and then if they are currently experiencing homelessness. And if they answer one of the first two answers, then we ask, do you consider your housing to be stable, somewhat unstable, or you're at imminent risk of eviction in the next 30 days? And that's a new question because I want to feed that to our local policymakers so they can understand, because I'm a big believer in preventative care, not emergency room care. And so if we can show them the data on here's the number of people facing evictions or risk of eviction, let's catch them then and not once they're living in their car or camping. There are limits, so people can come once a month, and they get a prescribed number of items depending on their household size. So obviously it goes up. They say it's a 3-day supply of food. I think it's probably more of a 4 or 5-day supply of food, but it is meant to be supplemental. It's not meant to meet, a family's whole nutrition needs. People can come back to a different pantry in the network for a repeat bag if they have more need. And then we also have an area that's called Anytime Food, which folks can come and visit literally anytime, and it's food rescue. So it's things that are short dated, still in date, but short dated. A day old sandwich from Quick Trip, those kind of things. And what we see is there's kind of 3 categories of people that access that. One is people that are unhoused because groceries don't help them. They need something quick and fast to eat. We see older adults that I think it's almost as much social as it is the food. They come in, hey Kathy, how are you doing? They have that, they get that experience. And then there's people that are just really, really struggling. So, yeah. And you asked about the relationship with the food bank, how that's going. It is so nice. Tammy and I met a couple weeks after I started, and I said I understand there was some, I called it the grand kerfuffle, and I just said, I've worked at a big food bank before. I know how they operate. I don't have any interest in, we are united to meet the need. We need to be united, and she has been so lovely to work with. And I'll tell a story that I think really demonstrates that, because it's the story about when no one is watching what happens. We had a transformer blow on Army Post. So when your power goes out, you start watching the clock because you've got a lot of frozen and refrigerated food. And so we're waiting, we're counting down. And I sent Tammy a text message and said, hey, this is what's going on. Do you guys have any freezer space? So she connected me to the right person in her organization. They called me right away. They said, what do you have? And I said, I've got like 50 pallets of frozen vegetables. Can you make room? She goes, yeah, we'll move stuff around and we're gonna make it work. Do you need us to send a truck to help you get it over here? So that is, to me, like the perfect example of what the relationship is like now. When no one's watching, When there's no credit, when there's no anything, we are there for each other. Yeah.
I'm very curious to know how helpful are the big companies like Walmart, Target, Hy-Vee, because at the end of the day, it's true that they throw a lot of food away, you know, and coming in my country, these big supermarket companies, they just don't give away the food because they fear to be sued. And I don't know how helpful are to you these big companies at the end of the day, all the food that they need to throw, they just give it to you or they stay away.
That's great. So his question was, in America, how good are the corporations about doing food rescue, about giving us food? And I'll tell you, they're pretty good. There's always room for improvement, but they're good partners. There is the Good Samaritan Act, which is a federal law. There's also state level laws that protect food donors from risk. So if you put some salmon out on your dock for a day and then call us, we have a problem. But if with good intention, you give us something and you're protected. And so because of that great legislation, we find that people are usually very, very willing to do food rescue. And I think we're out of time. I am not a big paper person, as well as not a big PowerPoint person. Apparently I'm just a talking person. But I do have business cards with me. I didn't bring any other materials because everything's online. But I'm happy to give you my business card if you'd like to have a conversation, if you'd like to come for a tour, if you haven't been for a while, and see what we're doing, or just learn any more about our mission. So thank you so much for having me here.
Just telling Kathy on the web, she did so good, repeated every question without being re-prompted. That was great.
Kitty gives good directions.
Not
So-
everyone listens.
All serious, thank you very much for joining us today. Certainly a great presentation. We appreciate you sharing the important work that you and DMARC do for our community. Welcome on your 1-year anniversary. Nice to have you supporting the basic human needs and reminding us for the collaboration across our communities. So appreciate you very much. Thank you for speaking with us today. Okay, upcoming meetings. Oh, and one more thing, Matt Kieran leads our community service committee, so I heard volunteers are in need, so we'll put that in the queue. Upcoming meetings. Next week, we have our own Claudia Schabel, President and CEO of Iowa Women's Foundation. August 6th, I will be back in northern Minnesota, so we'll have a new person at the podium, but Kevin Nordmeyer will be here, who is an architect at BNIM and worked on the Harkin Institute. And then August 13th, we have Reynolds Kramer, CEO of Fairbanks. So great upcoming meetings. Hopefully that you are able to attend and bring a prospective member if that is fitting for you. Upcoming events, we've got a good list of things coming up. So July 30th, Austin sent out an email for golf fellowship at Bright Grandview Golf Course next Thursday afternoon. There's, I think, a couple spots, maybe 3 more golfers we could take to fill the tee times that we have. So if you have interest, certainly let Kitty or Austin know and we'll get you signed up, but there's a little more room to fill there if we need. And then August 12th is Bourbon Fellowship at Christy Edwards' house. Bring your own bourbon and share your own mix. So looking forward to that. August 11th, we just got an email yesterday from Sam Sodders that pickleball will be 4 to 6 on August 11th at Valley View Park. So certainly let him or Kitty know if you're available to play pickleball. And then September 15th, we've got a couple weeks left for RSVPing for the 2-person member guest showdown between the Rotary Club of Des Moines and some other Metro Rotary groups. So please let me know if you can get a team together and play. That'll be a fun day focused around Rotary and some fun fellowship there. And then September 24th, Kelly is hosting us at the Art Center for a new member social, and we'll have some information on that coming out next week about how to RSVP, and hopefully you can attend that as well. So hopefully you can attend the August 6th event at the Art Center at 5:30. Great project, great meeting. It'll be fun event for sure. So please attend if you're able. Thank you for being with us today and for being a vital part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. Thank you to our guests, and most of all, make the most of your journey this week. Mr. Monsignor, thank you. Hopefully not the last time we see you. Enjoy your journey. We can't thank you enough for being such a strong Rotarian and community servant. And we are officially adjourned.